Welcome. Okay, so please remember this video is for those who love graphing. Lots and lots of graphing. Okay. So I have the root of x equals negative x. So this is an equation. Let's graph this first stage and pick out something important. So let's say I do the root of x on one side. So let me just, there it goes. And I'm going to do the x negative on the other side. And now take a look. When you look at this, zoom in on the relevant portion of the graph, which is this small window right here. Right, so you have here negative x, and then you have over here the root of x, like that. And you see that at x equals 0, they clearly match, because right here, their y coordinates are the same. They're both 0 at x equals 0. But then you solve this algebraically. There are specific things that occur because of that. So if you begin with the root of x equals negative x, one thing that you can do is you can do the root of x quantity squared equals negative x squared. Now you have to stop and really think, especially about the right side here. You are taking a negative and you're squaring it. That's going to make it positive. It's going to take negative x, which is this green line, and by squaring it, you're going to turn it into a parabola that opens up. On the right side, what is the root of x? Now it just becomes x. So you have x equals x squared now. This has definitely changed the shapes of things. So look, now the left side is, let's say, x, and the other side is x squared. Let me type this in here. So you see what it looks like? And this is the step. Okay, let me try this again. This is the step that introduces the extra solution. Let me zoom in on the relevant portion right here. You see right here. So x equals 1 now has been introduced as an extra solution that does not solve the original equation. Look. You can visualize this with like little arrows. Let me move this box over here from the recorder. I don't know why it's on the screen. Okay, so it looks like this. X equals 1, you see? Because they match. The original was x equals 0 was only here. So by squaring, you've changed the shapes that you're working on. So you have introduced extra solution. So it's not a trivial thing actually to square, right? Because you're changing what you're doing. Okay, at the next stage, I'm going to take my x minus x squared equals 0 now. I'm going to write it this way. So I'm just taking x squared to the left side through subtraction. What happens graphically? So the left side now is just x minus x squared. And the right side is just 0. So 0, let me put that in here, 0. And you see it's this curved graph now. The left side, that's x minus x squared. So that's this graph right here. And then 0 is the other graph, so that's just the x-axis basically. And notice that x equals 0 is still present as a solution at this stage. But that x equals 1, that extra solution that's introduced back here is still present too. It hasn't gone away. Now let's go to, remember we have x minus x squared equals 0. So I'm going to pull an x out and then leave 1 minus x equals 0. Does this mean something? I suppose you want the product to be 0. So you could graph the x independently, you could graph the 1 minus x independently, and then you would get that x equals 0 and x equals 1 are the solutions. But remember that x equals 1 comes from the squaring step as an extra solution. So these are subtle little things that can occur even with relatively simple equations. This is not only here, it's like this in many places. Just keep that in mind. But I'll leave it here. This is good enough for our purposes. If you like this type of video that deals with graphing and so on, please be sure to subscribe, to like. Thank you so much for watching. Check out some additional videos on this topic. I think personally, if you're going to learn, just try to engage as many parts of your brain as possible. Yeah, write out the math. Graph as much as you can. If you have to talk to other people about it, conversing about math makes it work better in your mind, usually, I mean. The other person knows what the person is talking about and so on, okay? Things like that. Just engage your brain in as many ways as possible. If you'll do this consistently with a great amount of devotion, you can absolutely learn math. I refuse to believe it can't be learned. Just don't believe it. I know that because when I was a kid, for some reason, 3 times 3 equals 9 stumped me for a long time. So I discovered early on, you want to get good at math, learn this thing here. You have to be persistent, unyielding, unbreakable. Then it works better. Thank you.